What is up, guys? Welcome to the Huddle. Quick shout out to Shag for sponsoring this episode of this week's episode of the Huddle. Don't forget to go Huddle 10. Use Huddle 10 to get your 10% off. Want to thank Shag. Remember them when you're buying anything you need in flooring. They have all the top brands, ship fast. And you can, of course, get your 10% off by using Huddle 10. Again, that's Huddle 10. Well, everybody, welcome back to the Huddle. We're your weekly playbook helping you gain forward progress in your career. Simply put, we're here to help you win. For all the new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up, fellas?
How's it going, sir?
Delightful. It's a great day.
Is it super hot over there like it is over here?
It's getting hot. Yeah, it's getting hot. But I tell you what, we're really thankful just that the rain has stopped. It's been like 2 or 3 days with no rain, and we're like, yeah. So, and I say 2 or 3 days. That's not even reality. We've gotten some overnight rain, but nothing.
Just like little sprinkles or something.
Yeah, nothing like what we were getting. We were getting hammered. Oh, John Steyer with the first comment. I met a guy in Breckenridge, Colorado, whose name was Fred. And he was the first guy on the chair every day for 40 years. And they called him First Chair Fred. So we're going to call John. We'll have to come up with a nickname for John.
I don't know, man. I don't think you can come up with anything better than Floorinator.
The Floorinator is pretty good, for sure. First comment, Floorinator.
We gotta find out from him how that originated. Who does he give credit to? Because it's stuck.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course.
Maybe it's just like one of those, like with Mario, where he started calling himself the floor god, and it just stuck.
Yeah, I'm sure. When you're a stud like John, it's not hard to get something like the Floorinator to stick. So shout out to John. Okay, so today's topic is the hidden cost of cutting corners on safety. Start this off with one of our company's biggest initiatives this year has been safety. Our leadership team is talking about it every week. We created a special channel for all of our installers for daily safety briefings and notes and toolbox talks and such. We have learned this lesson, and we can tell some stories, but the hidden cost is both monetary, where you're losing actual money because of it, cost of increased premiums at your insurance, the safety mod going up, and all of these things that affect your business. So those are some of the hidden costs. The hidden costs being, and I want you guys to chime in here if you've had any of this stuff, but your safety mod going up can keep you from getting work in the commercial world. Like,
absolutely. I mean, I think in every bid package, that's what it'll say is your safety mod under this number. If not, you're not automatically excluded.
Yeah, that's the hidden cost. That's opportunity cost lost because your safety mod went up. Lost time. It's another one I know about. Now, I want to be clear. The title's a little bit misleading. It doesn't always mean you're a derelict to safety. You can do decent in safety or even good in safety and still have things happen. But talking about the hidden cost of safety, the actual, it says cutting corners, but the actual cost of safety violations or safety problems range from not so hidden costs of a OSHA fine, which I have never had, but have you guys ever gotten fined by OSHA?
No, but yeah, we've been lucky, I think.
Knocking on everything. We've been visited. Even this last year, one of our sites was completely shut down. Luckily, the one time you thank goodness that your flooring installers kind of show up a little late. But it was kind of a little bit relaxed on safety job site, and they got shut down for a whole day. And you know, you want to talk about hidden costs? The hidden cost of not performing any construction work on a construction site with a deadline for a whole day. If you got 40 guys on that job and you got 8 hours a day, you do the math. That's how many hours in that you just lost.
Yeah, Jeremy says there was one time, but luckily we were on break, and I don't think we were on break. I think as soon as OSHA showed up, we were like, "Hey, it's break time."
Yeah, 100%.
And then they just come and start talking to you anyway, so it wasn't bad or anything. It was just they were like, "Hey, this is your guys' equipment. Yep, looks good. Thanks."
Here's some. Let's talk about some areas where corners are cut, and this is more in the commercial world, although it still applies in the residential world. It just, for some reason, does not get monitored. I mean, there's not
policed.
The fines aren't, the juice isn't worth the squeeze for OSHA on that. Going to a large, commercial job site, you can probably get 5 or 6 people fined for it, or 5 or 6 write-ups at least. You get to a residential job site, it's a little bit different. But one of the areas that we try to do better, and certainly Go Carrera helps with it, is having the MSDS sheets in your guys' possession. That is something that we still struggle with, even with Go Carrera. Like just getting my guys to put the MSDS sheets for all the product, the adhesives and cleaners. One time we did actually do pretty well. It was a really big hospital job. OSHA came. We had all of them except for denatured alcohol. They were using denatured alcohol to clean some stuff up, and we didn't have the MSDS for that. Luckily, we had them for everything else, and he let us off with just a little tongue lashing or warning kind of thing. But that was on a local hospital. But do you guys find that's a tough one to execute on every single project?
Well, it's because you don't know sometimes what they're going to be bringing in. Like you can try and account for everything, but it's like that denatured alcohol. Were they going to use? Did you have a different cleaner on there, and then they just brought that in because that's what was on the van? And it is. I think that's something that we deal with too on the bigger projects. Especially when some of these you got a book of stuff that you're bringing in there.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that's why I say Go Carrera does help us, because we just add them to the work order, and the guys can show it's got the job name, address, everything around the work order with the MSDS sheets attached, and that works really well, and it allows us actually, if somebody's like, "Hey, OSHA's on site," we can upload those documents right then if we forgot to initially.
Do you run into a lot of where they want hard documents or they don't accept the digital documents?
They want what?
They prefer the hard documents instead of digital. Do you run into that at all?
No, the rule doesn't say that it has to be hard documents. They have to already be downloaded. They can't search for them, and they have to be in a file or a format that has the job's name on it. So if you send them out with a book of all your products that you use and it doesn't have the job name, OSHA can, in fact, they really, at least around here, they really dislike that, because you're just trying to get away with giving them all of the potential adhesives, and then they got to finger through them. The idea is you go to the binder that has the job name on it, you open it to the product, and you know what to do for somebody who got it in their eye or got it, accidentally ingested it or whatever the scenario. So accidental ingestion's a thing, dude. I know it's hard to believe, but think of this. Think of how many times you may have stuck some denatured alcohol in a Gatorade bottle because you only had one can and 3 of you were using it.
That's actually a valid point.
Well,
Excuse
we've
me.
done it. So
Salute.
nobody ingested,
Thanks.
but I'm saying that's how it happens. It's not like somebody takes the quart and is like, oh, denatured alcohol.
That's when you said that,
Usually
that's what
when
I
you're trying to
pictured.
split things up and you only have one container of it, which is against OSHA rules anyway, because you're not supposed to have them in unmarked containers. But when accidents happen, that's one of them. So that's a cutting corner thing that I know it's not really cutting corners. We forget, or we don't think the job site's big enough. I'd like for my company particularly to be more apt in uploading an MSDS file for every job onto the work order. But yeah, so let's talk about some of those other hidden costs. Have you guys had any safety? What's your guys' thoughts, I should say, on safety issues and how it affects your premiums?
I think definitely talk to your insurance person to see what they say, because ours is in here. I mean, it's no secret that we've talked about it. We both use Federated, right? And he's in here pretty frequently, and he's like, hey, this is what you guys should do in order to do this. And they will list out the things that they have available for you as far as toolbox talks, videos. There's a bunch of resources just from your insurance person. So that way you can say, I mean, I always say it. I'm like, hey, we're doing this stuff. When am I going to start seeing this, some discounts and stuff like that?
Yeah, and those I can tell you because we've had a few work comp things. Some of them just degenerative, meaning guy was on his knees for 25 years and, his knee was hurting and he went to the doctor and they're like, hey, you got
Bone
scar
spurs and
tissue
hips.
and stuff and rips, and he's one of our best guys. And, we decided to make sure that he was taken care of. We didn't want him to, not be taken care of. But so that wasn't really an incident or an accident, but that was a pretty expensive deal that greatly impacted our mod rating. It increased our premiums. They'll always get their money, the insurance company. So
Somehow, some way.
the best thing you could do is be safe. Follow as many practices as you can to safely perform your job every day so you go home in the same condition as you did when you got there. The bottom line is it's going to cost you in one way or another. And those premium increases as well as those safety mod ratings are two of those hidden costs we're talking about.
I got a question. What about the most common, like the everyday cuts? Like, like a lot of projects that require the Kevlar or cut resistant gloves, or you have to wear sleeves when you're grinding or a certain demo, like the smart thing, but like 5 stitches here, or, a little slip here, or you reach into your pouch and you left the blade upside down and it catches you in the spot. Like, these are, I would say, pretty common, but like to someone who's new, they might have a little bit of a freaker outer. I will say that my very first good cut, I was like, "Oop, I got to go get stitches." And now I can see into my body in some of the cuts. I'm like, "Oh, that's good. This is all they're going to do now." Kind of.
Yeah. It depends on how long you've been in it, I think, because I've seen him like cut a tendon or something in his hand and then just tuck it in and then keep on working before. But I mean, if something like that happens, then you got to do something. But a cut, I mean, we use duct tape, but we always have at least first aid kits in the vehicles, and I've been trying to tell them we got to bring this in every single job site, guys. Like, it's got to be on site at all times.
Yeah, we haven't went that far, but we definitely make sure that each van has a first aid kit. You're probably right that it ought to be in the toolbox or one of the, put it somewhere where it's on site, especially on larger projects where you're not having. We have, I don't know about you guys, but like some of our hospitals, you can't park in their parking lot. They give you this
Yep.
parking lot that's in the
You got to park across the street and walk a mile.
across the street behind the Panera Bread to you got to walk to the jobs. You can go unload and then park over there, and then you got to walk back. So it's a good 10-minute jaunt, even if you're hustling to get there and get the stuff in probably 10 minutes back. By the time you get to the 8th floor, elevators, all that stuff. So that's probably a good point. I don't know if you were asking this, Jose, but one of the things on the smaller stuff is talk to your insurance company, but you can increase your deductible to where all those things you just pay out of pocket and it will not hit your mod rating at least or your premium. So it would not increase your premium or your mod rating if it's in that deductible amount, because in the deductible amount you're paying it anyway. And that covers your, your stitches, your things. So a lot of companies will have $2,000 or $1,500 deductible. Most of the companies are that my insurance company work with, he recommends $2,500 to $5,000. If you have a bigger crew out working, some are even at 10,000. But in the state of Kansas, and this is state by state, that's why I say you need to talk to your insurance company and don't just listen. I'm sure there's some version of this in every state, but in Kansas, the highest deductible you can have is 10,000. So that'll cover, we had a guy get 7 stitches or whatever is the $1,200 deal or whatever. You're expensive. That. But you also, and here's a good point. So I want to bring this up. One of the things that we do, and I have done, is on those things, I just self-pay it. I don't even run it through insurance. My insurance agent was like, I get why you do that. I would rather you increase your deductible and still pay it and still claim it, because here's the bottom line. If he gets gangrene in his thumb or something else happens, now you gotta, God forbid he loses his thumb for some reason or any number of things, a major infection being obvious on a big cut. If he's not taking care of it and he gets it infected, that's still on you. It was still an injury at work, and that is still on you. So it's better to have the coverage in case something like that happens, even on a smaller thing. So I think most
that's where I was going with that question.
Will advise you, hey, if you want to self-pace and you get these little nicks and knacks and ticks and tacks, self-pay it, but still do it through your insurance, so that, because they'll be like, there's no claim, that's not covered. And then you're personally liable to cover his hospital bills if something went awry with that scenario. Now, I've not had that happen. I've self-paid before, and but after talking to him about that, I was like, yeah, that's how we're going to do it in the future.
Well, I think
increase our deductible, still pay out of pocket so it doesn't hit our premium, still pay out of pocket so it doesn't hit your mod. But if something catastrophic was to happen off of something small, you're not, going broke over the deal.
Right. And I think a lot of that is like location. Where's the cut? How deep is it? Are you maintaining it? And that's where I was going with the question of what you just said about the insurance and all that. Because here, and I'm sure everywhere, anytime you go to the hospital for an emergency or something like that, they say, what were you doing? Where were you at? Did this happen at work? Yeah. And I believe the last time something happened, Daniel got a phone call directly from the hospital. Was that who called Daniel?
Yeah, from the urgent care.
Yep. So, I mean, there's no hiding any of it when the proper channels are.
No, but you can You can still elect to self-pay, and it's different in
Yep.
each state. So again, talk to your local insurance company, Federated. If they would sponsor this show, I would promote them. But they, they, they're our insurance firm, and they, you know, they can advise me on Kansas. You guys may have different
Oops.
rules up in um, Michigan, or I'm sure there's different rules in different parts. It's a state law, so you just gotta get with your insurance agent.
So
But
be
the
safe.
bottom
Don't
line
hide
is,
it.
if you can just get around it by not having accidents, is the best way. You'll still have some stuff. Like the safest companies still have some stuff, and that's where you can kind of think through these things. But it's when you have too many in a given, what is it, Daniel, 3 years on mod? Isn't it a rolling 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's a rolling 3 years. So, every year passes, the first of the 3 years falls off when you start a new one. So if you pack some too many accidents within 1 3 year period, it's kind of like your license, and get it suspended. But you pack too many work comp claims in a given period, you can even lose work comp coverage. And so you got to be careful. And look, there, I don't want to diminish the side of it. Like, we all want our employees to be safe as well, and us to be safe. So if you're an independent installer out there, I would like to address you for a minute. One of the things that I see a lot is we require work comp here for our subs. Now they're able to elect to not cover themselves. But if you do not have health insurance, guys, you should definitely have work comp on yourself, even if you're the owner operator. If you have good health insurance, then I understand it. But consider that you get hurt at work and you don't have health insurance nor work comp, you're losing all over the place because you're having to pay out of pocket. Who knows how much it's going to cost, the lost work time, all that stuff. And work comp will help cover that for you. So I would highly recommend that that if you do not have health insurance, that you have work comp.
It took us a while to understand that portion of it from an investment standpoint, because you grew up, insurance is just a scam. They don't ever cover anything anyway, right? It's not paying out and hoping that you get covered. It's
still a scam.
Well, they are without a doubt some of the wealthiest companies on the planet. 100%. I say it all the time. They sponsor every golf tournament.
Yeah, and it's until something bad happens, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah, so there's always a outside of insurance and all that stuff, you also have lost time if you injure yourself. So we had a guy last year jump over a fence and break his heel. Now, why he decided to climb the fence in the first place on the job site, that's all anybody, I'm not going to get into that, but it broke his heel and he was out of work for a while. Now, if he would have been a sub and did not have health insurance, he couldn't walk for about a week. He couldn't really put any weight on it at all. I remember I put a metal rod through my foot at my house, not on work, but I couldn't work for a few days, and then I had to really go against every doctor's recommendation and still go out there and work because I had to feed my family. And this was early on when I was installing, and I had a sub crew, and we were just getting ready to start full service offering, materials and labor. And yeah, I had to work. So I didn't, that lost revenue from lost work, especially if you're a subcontractor and you have nothing to fall back on. That's a hidden cost that sometimes you just don't think about. And it's probably one of the more expensive ones.
I tell you what, I've had some injuries that I probably shouldn't have been working. I didn't have a choice. Bills were still due. I was young. I wasn't protected. Didn't protect myself. So, and that's just one of those hidden costs, right? You either costing yourself relationships, costing yourself potential projects or opportunities, or you're costing yourself your body additional stress that it doesn't need. You're not allowing time to heal.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
Really good ones.
That's another good point is not so talking about safety in flooring, we're talking about knee pads and lifting properly, all of this stuff that, you can tear your body apart. You want to talk about a hidden cost, a cost you don't see for a decade or 2 or 3. And then all of a sudden your knee goes out, your back goes out, whatever goes out, and you're not able to work. And that was an accumulated cost over, a long career. So take care of your body. We've had entire episodes about taking care of your body and your
It's your most important tool.
Your physical health.
Your most important tool is yourself, right? Your body, and you got to take care of that. That's why, when we talked about knee pads, just look at that. And I just went to the doctor last week because my knees and my hips are bothering me so much. And he said that I have bone spurs, and that's why I'm getting so much pain. But it's probably due to how much I was overworking myself without wearing knee pads and stuff like that for, the first 5 years or so.
That was dumb, dude. Why'd you do that?
I didn't wear knee pads for a long time. Luckily, I don't have. The guy I worked with, he never wore them. And now, granted, mid 90s knee pads are not what they are today. You can get a pair of Home Depot knee pads that are better than the ones I used to have.
Oh yeah.
But he never wore knee pads, and I started copying him. Of course, I didn't look very sexy in a set of shorts, but I got used to it, and luckily, I don't have any major knee problems. But Rollins sounds like he may not wear knee pads either. But
some people can get away with it, man.
Well, he's been doing it for 152 years already, so
yeah, he's got a bone spur on his knee, on his kneecap. That's why calcium deposit.
He got calluses the thickness of a knee pad. But like you said, eventually it catches up with most people, and so taking care of your body on a job, picking up properly. Back in the day, we had a lot of problems when you have a new guy that would drop a roll before he was ready to drop a roll carpet. You ever have that happen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially when it's on your ear, it feels really good.
Oh yeah. Well, snap your dang back into.
Yeah, if you're the front one,
yeah, having. That really just falls back to safety training. Make sure you're teaching people how to do things safely. We don't want to sound like a broken record, but this stuff will impact your business if you're ever wanting to build a bigger installation team, or you're wanting to build a full-fledged company, like a full-fledged, full-service material and labor company. These are things you really need to think about because they will impact your business more than you can imagine. 1 year, our insurance premiums went up $30,000 in 1 year. Now, part of that, we grew, we had more employees and things, but 30 grand, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a raw overhead cost. And these are things that you want to do everything you can to keep down. And the best way you can keep your insurance costs down is staying safe. And Daniel was talking about it. I'll have him explore it or, expand on it a little bit more. But you can do some of these programs with your insurance company that will show that you're being more safe and help reduce your premiums as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to talk to them to see what they offer, right? Because there's every insurance company that we've worked with so far has had their own program, and they give you sheets where you can keep track of all these toolbox talks, and you can go down the list one by one. You can pick and choose which ones you want to do. And then what I was doing, like over the winter, while the vans were warming up when we were having meetings, is I would do a toolbox talk and then correlate it with one of the videos that they had. So that way we weren't just talking about it. It was, all right, let's watch this video. And there was some really helpful stuff on there to where, we watched it about backing up a vehicle safely and how you can do that. And then baby sister was like, the crazy thing is the very next day is we were working in a little blind spot like that, and I was able to use some of those tips that they were sharing in that video that she never really thought about before.
That's cool.
I'll tell you that some of those tips don't work when it's snowing and it's a whiteout and you're backing out of a driveway of a residential job and you don't see the ditch because everything looks the same.
This sounds like a particular scenario.
It does.
Yeah, that
Wasn't
also
me.
happened.
It wasn't me, but
That was going in forward.
Well,
though, not backing up.
I think a good time to mention to the audience the next week we're going to have CFI on here. If you have questions in regards to anything going on at CFI, as mentioned last week, we all know Ralph Falavina has left CFI, and so a lot of people have questions about what's the future. Is there going to be a replacement? Is someone stepping into that role? All these kind of questions we've been asked. You'll have a chance, and we'll have a chance to get that straight from the horse's mouth with
Right.
the executive team
And Beth,
of CFI.
Beth
So,
already made a pretty good video on it, right? With I guess leadership from
Or-
over there.
yeah,
And just if you haven't seen it, watch that. But also, we need the questions like that you need answered, regardless of what it's about. Like, you have any questions on CFI, this is the time to ask them.
yeah, and you can email us questions at
forwardprogress@thehuddle.team.
forwardprogress@thehuddle.team. I should have that off the top of my head, and I don't. Sorry, but forwardprogress@thehuddle.team. Email us your questions. We'll make sure that if there's time, that we ask those questions. If you want to get your question out live, which I recommend everybody do, I would join the huddle, jump on Facebook, chat, and watch us live, and shoot your questions right there. It's a great opportunity to do this. I cannot tell you how many times I talk to people at convention or things like this, and they say that no one's there to listen, or they don't know who to ask about something. Well, you have the people to ask these questions coming on next week's huddle. Again, it's next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Central. And I encourage you to join us. I encourage you to have your questions ready and fire them off, and we'll see if we can get some answers and engage the team. So we look forward to that.
What's up with the throwback? What's up with the throwback looking logo?
Yeah. If you got questions, everything from what's up with the logo to what's up with leadership to what's up with the WFCA and CFI and what's up with training, any questions you have that CFI can be directed to CFI, I encourage you to jump on and ask them, or shoot us an email at forwardprogress@thehuddle.team. Sorry, I almost said thehuddle.team.forwardprogress. I almost did that back.
Daniel practices that every day.
Forwardprogress@thehuddle.team.
It's right there scrolling on the bottom of the screen too.
Oh, well, that could help me. Forwardprogress@thehuddle.team. How about that? Okay, guys.
So I wanted to go over this, what John just said. said about, staying healthy and more guys need to put down the smokes and booze. And I think that's like people our generation, right? Because the new kids coming in don't really have an issue with that. I think that's more like vaping on the job sites and stuff like that instead of dealing with the booze and stuff, but it is an issue. I mean, just think of it in terms of walking into a job site and smelling like an ashtray. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, that smell makes me sick. And I can only imagine if you're around a customer for a few hours, how they would feel about it.
Well, in somebody's home.
Yeah, you get away with a lot more on a commercial job site than you're going to get away with the residential. I think you should always, I mean, there's so much into that comment. First off, what you said earlier, Daniel, your number one asset is your body. And so putting those two things down would help your body tremendously. Longevity of life as well as healing. And there's a lot of data on that. And I'm not here to tell everybody quit drinking and quit smoking, but I'm telling you, if you're doing it too much, like John Steyer just said, like, you might want to check that thing, because also safe work practices tend to go a little more lax if you are inebriated from the night before.
Yeah, sometimes I don't like, even when we go to some of the conventions and stuff like that, and there's guys all drinking, they're like, "What do you want?" Water. Like I'll have a drink or something, but I can't even do it anymore. I'm such a lightweight.
The only time I drink is at a flooring convention.
Well, I think that might be the case for a lot of the people that get Tice. But
and then I get made fun of.
What's important is taking care of your body. I mean, no one on here really cares too much other than you taking care of your body. And there's a lot of things that you do on your own accord and at your own time that can affect that. So I encourage you. I know plenty of people that have not taken care of themselves and are struggling, at that time. But take care of your body. Take care of your customer too. You mentioned it earlier, Daniel. Recognizing that you're not special. If you smoke and go into a customer's house, you are going to smell like that. And so doing what you can to not present yourself in that manner is better. Again, commercial job sites are just a different beast, and it probably doesn't matter as much.
People are getting a little bit fussier here, I would say.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly difficult to find like where you're smoke at, so to speak. More and more job sites don't allow smoking on the job site. Certainly not in the building, but I mean, even anywhere outside the building. Sometimes they'll say it's your
no smoking campus is what a lot of the healthcare and any education is going to, right?
Yeah.
So it's just something that you have to deal with. And I mean, I've even, rolled up on the guys, like, we're working and I come out and they're smoking. I'm like, dude, like, you guys have worked in healthcare buildings so much. Why are you even smoking? Well, this guy over here is doing it. I don't care if this guy over here is doing it. I don't even care if someone came over and said, it's fine if you smoke right there and they work here. The fact of the matter is it's a non-smoking campus. So we're going to treat it like a non-smoking campus.
Yeah.
You should treat it like that anyway. It reflects on you and the people who are on your crews or who are part of your crews who do not smoke. Right? It gives everybody the same label. And as an ex-smoker, I can honestly say that you're blind to what stress you cause and what you smell like and the smells you leave behind. You're blind to why people don't want you back at their project. Why certain people, you lose work.
Well, there's been some jobs where the site's out in the middle of an old farm field and they don't allow it because of fire hazards, things like that down here in the old Kansas.
Well, and you don't know who is getting that secondhand smoke off you too, right? Because just take my mom for instance. She's, she's on dialysis right now and looking for a kidney, and her her doctor straight up said even secondhand smoking could affect your eligibility.
Amazing. Well, I think we can all agree that coffee is the go-to, and Jose's got to leave us a little early. He's got some kid duties, I believe.
He's got some baseball.
Baseball. All right, my brother. Well, we'll catch you next week. Again, don't forget next week is our podcast featuring CFI's leadership. So be a great chance for everybody to get on and have a great conversation. Yeah. So what the other, hidden costs of safety is that I don't think we've talked about yet is setting bad example for younger people. For the more experienced guys out there, you do something unsafe that you've got some little trick or little deal, think about who's watching you, and setting a good example for your crew, setting a good example for your other people who may not be quite as lucky as you when they do something that's unsafe.
Right, like having these be safety glasses, just going like this, squinting your eyes.
What is it?
I think like instead of wearing safety glasses, you just squint like this.
Oh,
nothing
yeah,
gets in there.
yeah. or even more unsafe. I've brought this up before, but like guys stick scrapers, 4-inch scraper in the back of their pockets. I've seen that, and I'm like, dude, that is incredibly crazy. Stop doing that. You're gonna reach back sometime and slit yourself wide open.
It's one of those things where when I was younger and these things were happening, and then you find that like that older guy on a job site, and I think it was when I was younger, it was typically like one of those old carpenters because they just do finished carpentry. They don't got to go super fast, and you see them setting up, and they're setting everything up, and they got their safety glasses on, and before they make a cut, they're making sure that their earmuffs are on, and they're making sure that they got their gloves on, and it's like. When I was younger, I was like, man, just get it done. And now that I'm older, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go grab my safety glasses and my earplugs. And I get it now, but sometimes it's a little too late and you don't want that on yourself.
Yeah.
Or the people that are working for you.
Yeah. I mean, the worst safety violations are ones that put other people in danger. It's one thing to do yourself.
Rollin, I think next week we only got 4 hours, so you're going to have to keep it short.
But it's those safety hazards that you put other people in danger, and those are almost inexcusable. Putting other people in danger on a job site or, at your workplace, it's, then that can come all the way down to picking up your trash. That's a real easy way to like keep a safer job site is keep the debris off the job site. There's a reason every contract says to do that. And I don't know about you guys, but there's some LVTs that if you step on them,
you're going down.
You are going
some
down.
Carpet
It's
tile
like
too.
Slicker than snot. And there's carpet tile as well. There's some hardback carpet tile that I tell you what, I won't name brands because it's a good carpet tile, but I hate the backing because you step on it, dude, it's like an ice rink.
Well, you go and grab it out of the box, and as soon as you pick it up, it just like fans out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we are talking about the exact same.
Yeah, I think so. We know.
Oh, yeah.
Dust mitigation all day, every day. It's not even residential job sites. That's every job site, especially since the silica standard came out. They don't play about dust at all. It's you're controlling it, or else what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm glad he said that because this is talking about, you want to talk about hidden like things.
It's things that don't catch up to you until years later.
Mm-hmm. That's a silica. That's the asbestos thing that they didn't find out asbestos was terrible for, how many years. And we all intuitively know that breathing in a bunch of dust is not good for you. And so you should probably have a dust mask and keep the dust down. But when I first started, dude, I would have dust boogers like you wouldn't believe when I got home every day because I never wore a dust mask. It never crossed my mind. And I didn't work at a company that had a affinity or even a care about safety. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's imperative on any job that's occupied to have some level of dust control, but it's still required even on our big commercial sites. Luckily, a lot of the thin sets and the patches and things like that have taken the silica out, and so now you don't have to have a bag cover or a bucket cover to mix it. But
Right. And still, when we are doing self levelers, we still hook up because, I mean, you're dealing with pounds and pounds of it. So, in order to mitigate how much dust it does create just from pouring it in there and mixing it, we still hook a vacuum up to it
yeah,
just to not just for, the clients, but for everyone that is working there too. Like, we want to keep ourselves healthy because, like you said, you don't want to be breathing that in, which is crazy that drywallers still get to make as much dust as they want.
yeah, I know. Someday drywall dust is going to be the problem. At least I hope. Because I tell you what,
Right? I mean,
they are the messiest, one of the messiest crews on site. I just did a job off topic here, but we're in the middle of it. But we finished one of the towers up recently, and we fought with that GC and the drywaller. Like, the floor was coated. We were like, this is a loose lay product. We don't plan on coming in to each one of these units and sanding
and
the crap
scraping
out of
and
this, and just
buffing.
like, we want to come in, do a quick sand, a vacuum, prime in some cases, and install. Not all this other stuff. But man, they are messy. Sorry, I got off topic there. We start talking about you bring up drywallers or electricians, man, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole on you.
Right? John says a shop vac or some sort of vacuum should be one of the first tools in the job site. And we didn't learn about this until years later because we always used to have just like hand
Foxtails and
brooms and
brooms.
push brooms. Yeah.
Foxtails and push
And
brooms.
you still see some of the older guys, with that little foxtail, they'll sweep an entire room with that. And it's like, bro, there's easier ways now.
I like to fill it with my hands. Rollins says the smoke from hour at a time, day after day, can mess up your sinus. I'm not
I think
entirely sure what he's trying to say there. Do you got it?
I think just smoking in general, maybe.
Well, either
We need
right.
some clarification, Rollin.
Yeah, you're gonna have to expand on that one, Roland. But I tell you what, the what's important is that we recognize there's costs that you won't incur tomorrow from unsafe practices. There's costs that, like we've beaten to death here, is your experience mod on your work comp, your insurance premiums increases. And that goes for liability insurance too. If you mess up something because you weren't properly trained on a scissor lift, but it was in your way and you jump on it to move it and you take down a wall or something, that's a liability. You're responsible for it, and that's going to go against your mod rating as well, even if you don't have, and it's state by state, so I don't want to make a blanket comment on that, but a lot of this stuff is just, it's going to build up on you, and before you know it, it's incredible. It can be incredibly expensive, both in your body and in your pocketbook.
Then you lose insurance, and then you're just out of work altogether because without insurance, no one's going to hire you. Even the
Exactly.
people that are on Facebook Marketplace looking for the cheapest person, they're always like, I need it done cheap, but with someone that's licensed and insured, and it's like sometimes it's one or the other, guys.
Yeah. I dream of a world where, the quality guys who do everything right get paid what they're worth and get the work, and the other guys, they may still work in flip houses or something, but I mean, it's if you show you're safe, whether it's to a homeowner or to a business, a company, like a construction company, proof of safety, it will get you work. People
Yeah.
care that you're going to treat their property and you're going to be safe, practice safe work habits on their property.
Yeah, and going back to
Having
like
your safety, if you're OSHA 30 or OSHA 10 certified, which if you're not, you should get on OSHA. I mean, it's simple to do. It's
only like $50.
it's pretty cheap. You can get online and do it, and then you can tout that you're OSHA 30 certified. And I'm telling you that people care about that stuff. So
Yeah, there's some of the bids that come out over here that says that the entire crew working on the job site must be at least OSHA 10, and they want at least one person OSHA 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a job with Amazon right now, and it is you got an online orientation, an on-site orientation. You have to have OSHA 30, CPR, and CPR and first aid trained somebody, like through the roof safety. So
And again, these are things that you can pay out of pocket for, but look at what your local construction companies are doing, right? Because every March, one of the
and your
ones,
insurance company.
yeah, and so they get discounts too. So every March over here, they call it Safety Week, and one of the construction companies puts on a whole week of training as far as OSHA 10, OSHA 30 sometimes, and then they'll do lift trainings, and there's like CPR and stuff like that. And just this last year, they started doing it in English and in Spanish.
Cool.
So there's things out there. You just have to look out for them.
Yeah. Well, knowing where to go, going to your local builders association and finding out. A lot of times they have them. The AGC, the Association of General Contractors, if you're in the commercial side, they'll have them. They'll have safety oriented meetings and trainings and different stuff through the AGC all the time as well. You can also get with your insurance company and talk to them. They'll do like safety, like they're coming to certify our forklift drivers and all that stuff. So you can
Yeah, and I think
leverage, this might be one of the most important points. Make your insurance company work for you.
yeah,
They
that's what I was gonna say, because they have people that will come there and they're like, "You want this training? You want that training? Just give me a date. We'll be there." I said, "We start at 7 a.m." He said, "I'll be there at 6:50,
Yeah.
ready to go."
Yep. Yeah. So put your insurance company to work for you. They'll hook you up with multiple different types of training. Again, it depends on the company and the state, I'm sure, that you're in, but they're going to be certifying our forklift guys. So, you know.
Yeah, and so I wanted to go back to kind of the dust thing that we were talking about, and John saying that you have to have a vacuum on site. And this goes back to a job. I know we've talked about it in previous episodes, but we were on site and we're using multiple grinders, and we have the vacuums going. And I brought air scrubbers that were our personal air scrubbers. I didn't go to the GC and it's like, hey, you need to provide this. This is what I'm doing because it's my guys on site and I'm protecting them. Like everyone else is just a bonus. I'm protecting my guys. And the safety guy walked through and he was like, dude, can I just get pictures of you guys? Because I've never walked into a site where they had this much grinding and cleaning and everything and it be this clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why when people ask, what sets us apart, it's things like that. It's because I'm doing that just because I want to do it, not because I'm getting a bunch of extra money for it. It's because it's just what needs
In
to be
fact, it's
done.
probably
And
costing you extra because it's your equipment getting
yeah,
used and the time to set it up on site. It's costing you extra, but you're trying to do the right thing.
yep. But it's like, again, it's your guys. If you're on site, it's you out there. You're protecting yourself. So do what needs to be done. People will notice, and then you will get recognized for it. And I don't think I don't think anyone's going to complain about
Yeah.
it, right?
You're
They're-
being too safe.
That's something that they're always going to remember. They're going to be like, hey, remember the last time they were on this job site and it was that clean? We need them over here
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, and like you said, the in the commercial world with the silica, once that came out, and when it came out, what is 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, it was like all hands on deck on every commercial site.
It was actually like 7 or 8 years ago already.
Has it been? Well, I just remember
Yeah.
when it happened, we got a call from a general contractor. I did, from their lead superintendent, because we had guys out mixing mud without containing mix and thin set. It's before they took the silica out, and we didn't have a bucket cover and the vacuum hooked up. Like, they were dead serious. It took me a minute to get caught up on it, which is another good reason to stay in touch with your insurance company, because they'll keep you up to date on a lot of that stuff too. All right. Well,
Yeah.
here we are at the end of the podcast. Want to say thank you to Jose and Daniel. Jose had to run a little bit early, but
And thanks to Mr. Paul Stewart
thank you, sir.
for keeping everything in line.
Appreciate that. Next week, again, we're going to have a nice conversation with CFI. We're looking forward to that. So join us there. Come with your questions. And want to do another shout out to Shag Tools. Remember, Huddle 10 is your discount code there. So you can get anything on Shag Tools, and you can scan this QR code and go straight on and get your 10% off. So I want to thank Shag Tools for sponsoring this episode. And again, thanks to my my friends over in Michigan at Preferred Flooring, the Huddle staples. They often run this podcast on their own, and they are excellent. Also, if you
It's a team
Spanish,
effort. Don't let them lie to you.
it is a team effort, and we all have done a really good job of having each other's back over the years here. So also, if you speak Spanish and you want to join the Spanish speaking episode, Jorge will be doing we do one every quarter or so, and make sure to check that out. And
that one is going to be on July 8th. So if you want to be on that one and talk to Jorge in Spanish, just email him at jorge@thehuddle.team too. And I'm sure he'd be glad to have you.
Yeah. So join the conversation, get involved, stay involved, and we love you guys. We really appreciate everything. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content. Continue to support us.
If mine will do it now.
Yeah, there you go. Continue to support us with your comments and your engagement online. That really helps us out a lot. And we certainly appreciate our audience, and we appreciate you guys so much. So until next week, we're out.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.